Namaste everyone. Thank you so much for joining me yet again. Let us start today's session with a small invocation. Sitting in any meditative cross-legged posture, placing the hands gently on the knees in Chain Mudra. The spine branching up tall and erect, just like a tree, rooting the pelvic floor firmly to the ground. Lift the shoulders up, roll it back and drop it down. Gently close your eyes. We will take 3 deep breaths here. And as the first inhalation, and as you exhale, relax into it. Another deep inhalation, and as you exhale, relax even deeper into the breath. One last deep inhalation, and as you exhale this time, relax completely into the breath. Slowly take your awareness to your mind. As we center the mind, calibrate our energies, mentally preparing for the sacred practice of yoga. We will start with 3 rounds of Om chanting. So inhale deeply. Gently rubbing the palms, placing them on the closed eyelids, palms down to the heart center, and with a couple of blinks, gently open your eyes. Namaste. I hope everyone is doing good, and as I have said, this is our last session. We go into explaining, finishing the types of yoga that we were talking about in the previous session. Are we on? So we were talking about the types of yogas. Quick recap, we had said that there are 4 kinds of yogas. Jnana Yoga, the path of the head; Bhakti Yoga, the path of the heart; Karma Yoga, the path of the hand; and Raja Yoga, the path of the mind. We had understood briefly about what is Jnana Yoga and what is Bhakti Yoga. So today I am going to go into what is Karma Yoga and what is Raja Yoga. Can we have the next slide? The next and the next. The next? Yeah. So talking about Karma Yoga, I'll just read it out. Karma Yoga involves doing action with an attitude of detachment to fruits of actions. The second thing is makes one free from the strong attachments and thereby brings in steadiness or stability, which is explained as yoga in Bhagavad Gita. It says you become a sthita pragya. Going into the next slide. Now how does Karma Yoga achieve this? It says, our scriptures say that we are made up of 3 gunas. The tamasic guna, the rajasic guna and the sattvic guna. Tamasic is more of a heavy kind of guna which pulls you down. So maybe I can give an example of sleep, which is our tamasic aspect in us. Rajas is more of the working, the more energetic kind of guna. And sattvic guna is the guna that we all are trying to achieve through yoga. Going into the next slide. So through the practice of yoga, through karma yoga, what we are doing, this is as is explained by Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita, we are going from this tamasic energy towards rajasic and then towards the illuminated sattvic energy, and finally transcending the gunas, going gunatita, which is the region of freedom, moksha, liberation, kaivalya, whichever way you define it. I will now go into the class, which is Raja Yoga, and as I already spoke in the first session, the first section where we had spoken about Patanjali Yoga Sutra. So Raja Yoga is more linked to the Patanjali Yoga. There are other kinds of Raja Yoga as well, but of interest to yoga students is Patanjali Yoga. And we had said that the Yoga Sutras were a formula or aphorisms which consist of some 196 sutras. And the objective of Raja Yoga, if you can remember, I had said was Chitta Vritti Nirodha, that is gaining mastery over the mind. Raja Yoga, why called? Because it is the path, this path is said to be the king of all the other paths. So Raja Yoga. And one quote from Swami Vivekananda which says man is the maker of his own destiny, because Raja Yoga is the path of the mind. You come to all those that you are seeking through yoga in this process through your willpower. Into the next slide. Now quickly explaining, Raja Yoga consists of two parts. One is the Ashtanga Yoga, which everyone I think has heard about. The other part are the advanced yogas beyond Samadhi. The Ashtanga yogas are the 8 limbs, which are like the 8 stages of how to achieve Raja Yoga as is described by Patanjali. Into the next slide. Now this Ashtanga Yoga, as I said, are 8 limbs. That is again divided into 2 parts. Bahiranga, that is the external yoga, and the Antaranga, that is the internal yoga. The Bahiranga Yoga, external yoga, consists of Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama and Pratyahara. Yama is right living with your surroundings. Niyama is right living with yourself. Asana is Pranayama, right living with our breath, with our prana, vital energy. Pratyahara is right living with our 5 senses, withdrawal of our 5 sensory organs. Antaranga Yoga consists of the next 3 ladders, which is 6 dharana, where you learn to focus your mind, dhyana, which is defocusing, meditation, and the last stage, what you reach, is called samadhi, the state of superconsciousness. Now there is a lot of misconception about meditation. So here clearly what Patanjali says is you start with the practice of dharana, in which you learn to focus your mind on a single object. It could be an external object, say the flame of a candle, the sun, the moon, etc. Or it could be an internal object of the mind. Now at present, most of us are in a concentration. What I mean by that is our concentration is like droplets of water falling from a tap. So we concentrate for an X period of time and then we lose focus. We again concentrate and we lose focus. Just like droplets of water, there is a gap between the concentration. What dharana does is it teaches you to focus the entire energy of your mind. Now I'll give a quick example. In our childhood, all of us must have played with mirrors, We have shown the mirror against the sun and used that to burn paper. I don't know if you all have done it, but definitely I have done a lot of this. It was more of a game for us during our growing up years. So in that example, what you are doing is you're concentrating that sun's energy on that mirror. So dharana is the same thing. You are focusing the mind on your object of meditation. When that focus becomes defocused, that is, when you are in a dharana practice, there is a seer, there is the seen, which is the object of meditation, and there is a process of meditation. Now when these 3 become one, and it is just like oil pouring out, the concentration is like oil pouring out or like honey pouring out. There is no break in the concentration. We call that state a state of meditation. And continuous practice of meditation leads you to the state of samadhi, which is super consciousness. Now this is the part of Ashtanga Yoga. According to Raja Yoga, real yoga starts from this stage. Next slide. So today's session, I'm going to be showing you the entire protocol for improving immunity for the prevention of COVID-19, which was the theme of our series. And this has been developed by my Guruji, Padma Shri Dr. H.R. Nagendra. That's a candid moment with Guruji. And Guruji also happens to be the Yoga Guru of our Prime Minister. He is the Chancellor of SVYASA. I think he is the President of the Yoga Association of India, and so on. So let's quickly get into the practice. Can we have the full screen on me quick with Sithilikarana Vyama, loosening practices. And in this, the first that we will do, it will be around 1.5 to 2 feet apart. Bring the hands in front of you, and from here inhale. As you exhale, you twist and look at the hand behind you. Inhale, the hand behind you. I will show 5 of this, but you need to do at least 10 or more at your own capacity. So you can, make the speed faster or slower, whichever suits. Normal deep breaths. The next practice that we are going to do is going to be a forward and backward bend. So in this, what we do, we keep the feet together. We inhale, arch back. Exhale, go down. Swinging the arms. Inhale, once again back. Exhale, down. 3. Exhale. 4. Exhale. And 5. Exhale, hands beside the body. Once again, close your eyes and become aware of the changes that you are experiencing due to the practice. Gently opening practices. So the first breathing practice, in this what we do, feet slightly apart, hands in front of you. As you inhale, open the chest. As you exhale, hands back in front. Once again, you need to do 10 of this. I'm showing just 4, 5 due to lack of time. 3, 4, and 5. Complete awareness on your breathing. The next practice we will do is hand stretch breathing. In this, what you do, you interlock the fingers, place it on the chest. As you inhale, stretch the hands out 90 degrees in front of you. Exhale, collapse the elbows to the side of the body. Again, 10 of this at least. I'm showing 5, 2, 3. Complete awareness on the breath. 4 and 5. From here, the next stage, we will do 135 degrees and looking at the palm in front of you. Inhale, exhale, collapse the shoulders. 2, 10 of this at least. 3, 4, and 5. The last stage of this practice, in this inhale, go up completely 180 degrees. Exhale, down. At least 10 of this. You can keep the eyes closed. You can slow the practice or speed up the practice at your own pace. 3, 4, and 5. Once again, dropping the hands beside the body. Keep the eyes closed and become aware of the subtle changes that you are experiencing. Keep your awareness on your breath. From here, we are going to lie down on our back. So the next is an asana, which is Matsyasana. I will first show the full expression of the asana, and then I will show a modification for people who will not be able to do the asana. So first what we will do, bring the hands together, feet together, the hands beside the body, and as you inhale, slowly stretch the arms, filling the abdomen, the chest with air, and as you exhale, slowly bring the hands beside the body. Take your time, do not rush through the practice. As you inhale now, we will make Padmasana with the legs. And then what we will do is, we will place the hands under the buttocks, drop the legs down, with the support of the elbow, lift the head up and place the crown of the head on the ground. If this is not accessible to you, I will show you modifications. And then you are going to do a 3-finger grip on the big toes and hold. Breathe normally for 5 to 10 breaths. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. From here, gently release the hands. With the support of the elbow, bring the head up, drop the body on the ground, and slowly release the legs and lie down in Shavasana. Hands beside the body. Modification for all those who can't do Padmasana, who are finding it a bit challenging. What you will do is, you will keep both the feet together, place the hands, palms facing down under the buttocks. With the support of the elbow, you will lift the upper body, place the crown of the head on the ground. Throughout, the legs are engaged and the elbows are supporting the shoulder and the neck. You will hold for 5 breaths. 1, 2, normal breathing. 3, 4, and 5. With an inhalation, lift the body up. Exhale, come down. This was Sulabh Matsyasana. From there, we will go into Shavasana. Feet slightly apart. Hands 6 inches away from the body. Palms facing up. Collapse the entire body on the ground, keeping the awareness on your breath as you inhale and as you exhale. Stay there for a couple of breaths. I'm coming out because we will be rushed for time. With the support of your hands, turning to the right side, you will come up to a cross-legged seated posture. From here, we are going to do a Kriya, which is Kapalbhati Kriya. In Kapalbhati Kriya, what we will do is, we will sit in a meditative posture, cross-legged. Because it is for beginners, I'm just leaving one foot in front of me so that the knees are touching the ground. From here, what we are going to do is, we are going to place the hands on the knees in Chin Mudra, that is the pointer and the thumb touching each other. And we are going to inhale passively and exhale actively, flapping 3 fingers below the navel, the lower abdomen. Just like, I'll just show you, it will be easy. You need to do at least 30 strokes for results. So let's gently leave the practice. Keeping the eyes closed, just stay with that awareness, focusing on the changes happening inside the body, inside the mind, and inside the breath. Next, we will do a pranayama, which is abdominal breathing. Place the hands on top of the abdomen. We've done this in the first session. So as you inhale, inflate the abdomen to its full capacity like a balloon, filling air in the region of the neck fully. As you exhale, gently press against the abdomen, releasing the breath. The chest and the abdomen. So we need to do 9 of this, but I will just show 5. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, 4 and 5. Finish the 5th round and place the hand once again on your knees. Next we will do Nari Shuddhi Pranayama, that is a balancing pranayama. In that what you do, you adopt Nasika Mudra with your right hand. You will block the right nostril with the thumb. The left nostril is free. You will exhale through the left nostril first. Then you will inhale through the left nostril, block the left nostril, release the right nostril and exhale through the right. After the exhalation, you will inhale once again through the right, block the right, release the left, exhale through the left. That was 1 round. We need to do 9 of this at least. I'm just showing you 5. You will exhale through the right and release the practice. Gently bring your hands back. After this is we are going to go into a meditation practice. I doubt if there are meditators in our group. So I will just go quickly through a very small and basic process that is focused on the sun. This is called sun meditation because this is again a 15-minute protocol. You can do it with the terrace or veranda or whatever, or if that is difficult for you, you can use the image of a rising sun and do the practice. Gently close your eyes. Once you have visualized seeing the sun, you try to visualize the same sun inside you. The space in front of your closed eyes, which is the screen of the mind, the Chidakasha. If you can visualize the same sun out there, if you can't, no problem. Just imagine the entire sun inside you, the inner sun of your being, that light, that divinity inside you. Slowly become aware of the brightness and the heat of the sun spreading throughout your entire being. Do not rush. I'm going through because I am constricted against time. Slowly feel that warmth, that brightness, expanding your whole being inside of you. Take your time, and we need to have a resolve, a sankalpa at this stage. If you know what a sankalpa is, if you don't know, it is a small positive affirmation. It could be anything, couple of words, 3-4 words. If nothing comes to your mind, do as I do, the famous phrase, all is well. And just keep repeating your sankalpa. In this case, I'm repeating all is well mentally for 9 times with complete faith. Sowing that seed of faith deep inside your subconscious mind in a meditative state. Take your time, and once you feel you are done, come out of the practice. Can we have the screen back, please? So that was a very quick, to make everyone experience. I'm very sorry this does not happen so fast. You can just follow my instructions and continue the practice as I have said, yoga capsule at least twice a day before breakfast and before dinner ideally, but if you are rushed against time, you can do it before lunch and before dinner as well. Now, as you have seen, there is a lot of importance which was given to breathing practices in the entire protocol. The reason why this was done is because there are two things. Number one is, since we are needing to use a mask all the time, our breath, we are really not getting to breathe freely. You are exhaling and that contaminated breath is again going in because of the mask. So whenever you get time at home, please practice pranayama, breathing practices to strengthen the respiratory system by throwing out the toxins. Now coming back to immunity, which was the theme of our series, the first Yoga Capsule 1 focused on detoxification. Yoga Capsule 2 focused on strengthening the digestive powers. Today what I want to talk about is the third and most important thing, that is fear. Fear of what? There's a highly contagious virus out there on the loose. We don't know what future holds in store for us. The economy is in doldrums. We don't know if we have our jobs tomorrow or what is going to happen tomorrow. So there is always an inherent fear inside us. Fear of what? Fear of the unknown, fear of the future. Now everybody will agree with me, and definitely there is enough research which shows that fear brings down, weakens your immunity system. So how do we overcome fear? Now in yoga, I'll just, I think it is Chale Vate Chalam Chittam. This is from Bhakti Yoga Pradipika 2.2, if I'm not wrong, which clearly says that the mind rides on your breath. So breathing practices help you to overcome the fear, the anxiety and all these negative disturbances which affect our mind. Through the meditation practice, you have already planted the seed of faith, and every day as you do the practice, you are watering this seed of faith and letting it germinate into an entire positive big tree inside you, spreading that positiveness, spreading that wellness around you as well. I will close my session with one very happy news, that is, in association with the Skill NSDC and Ayush, we will be at NSHM will be coming up with a number of yoga sessions, different kinds of courses which will be coming out shortly, and I look forward to have you all along with me in this journey of yoga. International Yoga Day is also round the corner, and our very, very favorite yoga guru, Eddie Stern, will be live with us to talk and interact with all of you, and I will definitely be there once again to meet you. Till then, stay happy, stay healthy.